Hello, you're watching New Vision TV News. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's coming up in our bulletin. Ugandans have been asked to donate blood. The EMPANGO preparations are going on in Nigeria, and Karamoja is demanding for bigger royalties from minerals. Rwandans react to the arrival of refugees from Libya. Scottish court has ruled Prime Minister's suspension of Parliament unlawful. Hello there once again. Thank you for joining us. You're watching New Vision TV News. In our national news today, 4 Kaweesi murder suspects were granted bail 7 months ago. However, they have never been freed. A ray of hope appeared today when the International Crimes Division of the High Court Registrar Esther Rebecca Nansambu ordered for their release. After clearance from court, the 4 boarded a Toyota Noah vehicle belonging to lawyer James Mubiru heading to their freedom. At the gate, they found a parked vehicle that blocked their exit. Immediately, armed plainclothesmen came out, took positions, while others used gun butts to force open the doors of the Noah, and they pulled them out. The rearrested are Yusuf Nyanzi, Joshua Chambade, Yusuf Mugera, and Jibril Kayango. Their co-accused were further remanded until tomorrow, when they are expected to appear before Naweru Chief Magistrates Court over charges. Now, celebrations for King Oya's 24th coronation anniversary kicked off today at his Karuzika Palace in Fort Portal with cultural rituals that, among others, include the blessing of the royal drums, spears, and the regalia by the king. The king also sounded the royal drum to the tune of a Makondele royal dance for his subjects to dance as a sign of launching the EMPANGO celebrations. The king also closed the health camp at Buhinga Regional Referral Hospital and also officiated at the 3rd phase of the Save River Mpanga Now campaign by launching a waste management system along banks of River Mpanga opposite police barracks near Buhinga Playground. King Oyo, who is the world's youngest reigning king, ascended to the throne at the age of only 3 years. It is a fact that the mineral-rich Karamoja also has the highest poverty levels at more than 60%. The sub-region also has the thinnest infrastructure compared to other parts of Uganda. The mining of minerals, including gold, offers hope for Karamoja to start building its infrastructure. Because of the vast mineral resources and poverty, Karamoja is demanding bigger royalties from mining. They also want to address problems such as environmental destruction that will come with mining.
The saying that God gives meat to those who do not have teeth can be best seen in Karamoja region. This region is filled with various minerals such as gold, marble, and limestone, known to be very precious and can catapult anyone's life into riches. Unfortunately, this has not been the case. Many Karamojans are living in abject poverty, even though many get up every day to go mining. So what could be the problem? In the proposed mining and mineral bill, government will take 80% of the royalties and 20% will come down to local government and the landowners. The local politicians consulted about the sharing of royalties say the share for local government should be increased.
In the bill, it has still, like what was in the act, the 80% goes to central government and the 20% coming back to local government, of course, considering to the one of the landowner. But we want to see that can we have like 70% or 70%, 75% going to central government and 30 or 25 coming back to local government.
DEBORAH ARIONG, the National Resources Officer in Amudat, was speaking during a one-day consultative meeting organized by the Ecological Christian Organization and Karamoja Development Forum at Leslona Hotel in Moroto recently. The meeting was convened to consult the leaders of Karamoja and Kitgum on the proposed mining and mineral bill bill which is expected to replace the Mining Act 2003. Civil society organizations supported ARIONG, pointing out that sustainable development takes place at the local level. They also say that there is need to cause development because minerals are finite and that Karamoja should be left better off when the minerals get exhausted.
For us as an organization, we believe that indeed Karamoja as a sub-region should not be treated like another region in the country because of the challenges the region has gone through, and therefore we suggest and recommend to government that the royalties that are provided to local governments in Karamoja should be increased from the current percentages.
The principal engineer in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Vincent Keddy, concluded that the meeting was intense and that the views of the political leaders on sharing of royalties, environment protection would be considered.
To royalties, of course, there have been very good proposals that have come up from this region. We are going to also look at what other regions are saying, and we'll see how we can try to come up with a middle ground.
Karamoja has released the first shot on the consultation process of the Bill on Mining and Mineral Resources. The consultations will continue in eastern Uganda, central Uganda, western Uganda and northern Uganda. The next biggest thing that has happened to Uganda is the discovery of oil, according to some people. But minerals could be even bigger than oil. It remains to be seen how government and the stakeholders can get the benefits of minerals without causing conflict and destruction of the environment. This report was compiled by Gerald Tenywa for New Vision TV.
Still in Kampala, the Buganda Prince Crispin Chiwewa Junju has urged Ugandans to donate blood to address blood shortages in health facilities across the country. Junju was speaking at a two-day blood donation initiative organized by the Kabaka Foundation that ended today at Mengo. In Hoima, Betty Agujero, the principal Hoima School of Nursing and Midwifery, has been suspended to pave way for investigations over the mismanagement of the school that led to a student strike on Sunday. The pronouncement was made by Hajat Safina Musene, the Commissioner, Business, Technical and Vocational Education and Training in the Ministry of Education and Sports, as she addressed students of the school. This followed a closed-door meeting that was chaired by the Hoima Deputy Resident District Commissioner Richard Tabaro to find a solution to the student strike that was in its third day. Closing off our news around Uganda, we continue looking at River RWIZI. 2 kilometers away from Bara town along the Bara and Tungamo Road, brick kilns are what you see just a few meters from the River RWIZI. Some are being burnt while others are being loaded onto trucks. Local leaders say human encroachment and activities are what have led to the death of the mighty river. We have more.
Amazina gange la asafchotera chairman RC 11 Orvizoro ukabar yorwizuru amizi garkwizura gakafika kuriya kukabwa abantu kuhinga bakata mu mfreji amizi hatigagenzere kandi ntekateka ngo rwizoro rwa amizi gahom twena tungo buzubu ahabwo umujerogo bere tugasira munonga tubura amizi mbwene Nkat for example imidumoko rugureri yona yoma abwe mfreje ibafuteramo kajeje ndamizi bakagatwara gakagenda mbwe ekindi itwenka nko mu rukogo mbwene tukagezeho kugambira abantu ngo bareke kushisha RWIZI tibikerezana nitwe.
Let's take a look at news around the East African region. 9 black rhinos from South Africa have arrived in the Serengeti National Park as part of efforts to repopulate the park with the critically endangered species. The animals came from Thaba Tholo, a game farm in South Africa, and arrived Tuesday morning before being transported to the famous Serengeti National Park, according to the Ministry of Natural Resources. President Uhuru Kenyatta has blocked a move by members of parliament to clip powers of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. The Star, a Kenya newspaper, reported that President Uhuru Kenyatta reacted after parliament passed a bill barring the Salaries and Remuneration Commission from determining salaries for members, giving that power to the Parliamentary Service Commission. The newspaper reported the proposal was part of the Parliamentary Service Bill 2018, which the president vetoed, saying any pay decisions must be approved by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. But instead, members of parliament sought to give themselves powers to authorize payments. Now, Rwanda is in the process of receiving 500 refugees from Libya. This comes after years of preparation. Reports in Kigali say President Paul Kagame made the offer in November 2017 to host the refugees. The signing of the agreement between the African Union, the government of Rwanda, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees to establish an emergency trust mechanism in Rwanda for refugees and asylum seekers stranded in Libya took place Tuesday. The Africans stuck in Libya were on their way to Europe for a better life across the Mediterranean Sea. This is a route to Europe used by desperate Africans, which has claimed hundreds of lives as their overpacked rickety boats capsize midway the journey. In news around the world, the body of Robert Mugabe has left Singapore on a private flight destined for his home country of Zimbabwe, a country divided over the legacy of a former liberation hero whose 37-year rule was marked by repression and economic ruin. Mugabe, a guerrilla leader who swept to power after Zimbabwe's independence from the British and governed until he was ousted by the military in 2017, died on Friday, aged 95. President Paul Biya of Cameroon intends to hold a major national dialogue later this month in a bid to put an end to the conflict between security forces and armed separatists from the Anglophone minority in the West. Over the past 2 years, the Francophone majority country has been mired in unrest, which has left more than 2,000 people dead as English-speaking separatists demand independence in the northwest and southwest regions. More than 500,000 people have been forced from their homes, according to the Human Rights Watch group. It is 18 years today since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Thousands of people were murdered when 4 planes were hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and one into a field in Pennsylvania. A series of services have been held today to remember the dead as a mark of respect and to help those left behind. Now, Scotland's appeal court today declared British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to suspend Parliament unlawful in a case brought by lawmakers and set to be appealed by the government. The decision overturns a previous Scottish ruling which had paved the way for Johnson to prorogue Parliament on Tuesday until October 14th, just a few weeks before Britain is due to leave the European Union. However, the government immediately said it would appeal the decision to the Supreme Court in London. A lawyer involved in bringing the case in Scotland suggested it may be had as soon as next Tuesday. We now take a break and return with news in business.